Back for a part 2 tonight. 1:20 a.m. Eastern. We're taking a look at the Orion Nebula, looking absolutely amazing tonight. The trapezium cluster at the center. This is the sword of Orion. If you're looking at Orion coming up in the east, you see the belt, and then you follow the sword downwards. This is the third star in the sword, Hatsya. So it's looking really awesome. I want to hop into the chat, say what's up to Gnostic Chef and Dark Mode International. Welcome, friends. Yeah, all is well here, thank you. Good to see you. A little sleepy here because I started napping, and then I was like, no, I'm going to get up and do this. We got a beautiful moon too, a last quarter moon, 54%. So I'm waking up here, I'm going to go pour myself a coffee. Just want to let y'all know what we're looking at. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I chatted about earlier, which is everything. Consciousness, electricity. And I realized I ran through the show before. I had so much to say, so I was just stacking information. So if y'all listened and you had some other things to ask me, happy to talk about it calmly, late night sesh. What's happening, True Man Zoo? Nice to see you. All right, back in a bit. Is that English? Don't know.
Your mind is in illusion.
those times ain't coming back. Hard to know just how to feel. And could they ever know peace? Maybe I'll just cut them slack. But they work so hard to relax. And when they give their bodies to the sea, I feel the end becomes me. The end become the solution. Smiles, not confusion. My heart, I release you to the memory of this place. High, stellar far, song, an analog. And I feel like running back, gone too far this time. I'm glad we're analog. I want to hop in here and talk a little bit about what we're looking at. So this is zooming into the trapezium cluster over here. And I wanted to talk about the fact that this is really, we're looking exactly at the cross-section of a Birkeland current, which is a nest. Basically, we can see 4 of them, but there are 2 binary systems in there where you can see double stars. And this is essentially like cutting off a cross-section. Imagine if you're looking at a fruit and you cut it in half and looked at it top down. This is what you would see, this kind of, not kind of, but you'd see the flesh around it or the field around it. And you'd see the center seeds. And the seeds right now are, I think, not just top down, but we're seeing it sort of at an angle. Let me see if I can scribble on this for a second. Yeah, Gnostic Chef, I have. Keep getting recommended his videos, but I tend not to, I tend to say, don't recommend this channel, please. I just don't understand people like that, to be honest. Just so little fun in their lives, it seems. So yeah, let's see. This is my scribbly pen, so trapezium cluster over here. And what we can see, what we can't see rather, is the fact that it's filaments like this. And we're seeing the cross section of that. This is the continuation to the right. And we're really seeing, like, imagine you cut those in half and we're seeing the top halves of that. So what's going on, interestingly, it kind of is part of the diachotron set or the sextuplet tornadoes on Jupiter. We're seeing like 1, 2, 3, 4, but these are doubles. And so I still have a lot to study about M42. It's not the simplest thing to decipher, but this definitely is resonant, and it feels like that's what this is. Just pretty much looking at a Birkeland current dead on into the wire. Yeah, there are a couple of gatekeepers. There used to be this cat named Phil about the, what's his last name? Phil Plate, I think. He's still around. He's now elevated to doing documentaries for Science Channel and just being one of those gatekeepers. But now there are new gatekeepers on YouTube. People who just have this, they're just complete bent on trashing alternative science. But really more so than anything, it's not the substance of any of those videos, but it's the fact that it's just angry and bitter and judgy and belittling. And that's not really science, that's just YouTube. It's trolling, you know. I'm not sure I would waste any time on that. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up here for a minute, play some tunes, but I just want to let you know what we're looking at. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, all the detractors of the electric universe, especially there was this guy in the comments on the last video for Stuart Talbot's video, I think it was Ian or whatever, going around like commenting on everybody's comment, being like, this video is pseudoscience and this video is da-da-da. It just means that it's affecting people, and so they feel like they have to respond and gatekeep and trash character. Like, character assassination is a key sign of insubstantive science. I do like that Dr. Robitaille did a debunking the debunker video, but still, I think it's like I said the other night, where somebody in Sky Scholar, well, anybody who does a good video, they're like, you should go on blah blah blah's podcast, and as somehow like that's validation. The validation should come from the knowledge that they're presenting. So each individual person, when they listen to somebody espouse knowledge, that should be enough. I mean, in my opinion. Of course, it would be nice for people to get on podcasts and do crossover work, but ultimately, when you go to somebody's video like Pierre-Marie Robitaille, if you're not getting anything out of it and you need them to somehow go and debate somebody famous, I just don't see how that like makes any sense. Right on. So the moon's going up pretty high, so let's go over there. But I feel like this was a pretty good shot of the M42 trapezium cluster, and just looking at the fact that this might be, it seems to me, the cross-section of a Birkeland current side view, and it's kind of plugged into our solar system. Look at that. Now we're getting some clarity on the binary stars. It's really clear. I mean, this is the 11-inch with the wide shot. So let's stick here for a couple more minutes and then go back. I think Trueman's saying you have a nice video on your channel about it. I think it's what I've talked about, same thing with certain conspiracies. It's the amount of time you spend looking into that or expending energy on bunking or debunking or doing all that sort of stuff. That type of energy is what's, I don't want to say it's lame, but it's not energy spent elsewhere. That's the nicest way I can put it. It's very easy to go get mired into, especially back in the day when people were saying, this is that thing, and, you know, I almost don't want to bring up the topics, but things like cold moonlight or the horizon or high altitude balloons or even the hollow earth stuff where it's like Admiral Byrd. But these things don't actually open up new science pathways. New science pathways are uncovered by understanding the self and understanding the connectivity of everything and working together with things, not adding more divisiveness and more barriers. We have enough of those. But I do understand I often want to comment or often want to say things, so I do understand people feeling compelled to either respond to that cat or even the people who don't like Thunderbolts Project, because it's so different than what the current mainstream dogma says that they just feel attacked by the truth. And look, Thunderbolts Project doesn't have everything correct, right? So that's the main thing. Thunderbolts Project at least just is presenting a connected universe and not an orphaned island universe. And that's like a really big difference. Just when your mind gets into that sort of state, then you can think about new things. All right, a couple more shots here and a song. I can feel like the wind. I can feel like the waves. I can feel. Oh, So we did a bit of M42 tonight. That's awesome. So getting back here to the moon. Moon is looking lovely, 54% illuminated. Was that an airplane? Or is this a cloud coming through? Looks like an airplane, but I don't know. Let's see. So right now I have the aperture open pretty high so we can see the Earth shine. And it's looking really nice, this Terminator feature to the left coming through. I'm trying to imagine where that is. That's right around, if I'm correct, that's Mare Imbrium. That's around Plato. Maybe it was clouds. I'm glad you could catch the show, True Man, definitely. I wanted to just respond to one of the comments you made just about, do you not have the feeling that important things are hidden from us? I think that's a really interesting thing to say, and I know the feeling, you know what I mean? It's like the reason I got here is I feel like I had that feeling a lot. But one of the biggest revelations that I stumbled across is that the information is out there, and it just takes a lot of deciphering to figure out what's right. So that's the big thing that happened for me, is that I got to a place where I stumbled across Electric Universe, I stumbled across Ken Wheeler, I stumbled across all these different people that I just never had heard of before, never had listened to. And when you put things together, I feel like there's an attitude of possibility versus an attitude of impossibility. And that's where the difference lies, I think, in different people's approaches. It doesn't mean people are bad or not smart. It just means that people need to learn how to approach things the same way you would approach learning an instrument or art or anything like that, or a language. You can't just, some people can just pick it up, but others need guidance. And so I feel like there's not a lot of guidance in terms of science. There's a lot of hype. And conspiracy is extremely seductive. Hey there, NGC. Lovely to see you. I hoped you'd catch the show because we missed you earlier, and then I lost the stream because of a weird image issue, and so I had to re-upload it without the chat. Lovely to see you again. Gnostic Chef agrees, says you can't find what you aren't looking for. So some may not know that they should be looking. That's true. I do think, though, people who stumble into conspiracies, especially the deep stuff, are seeking a bigger answer to things. They're dissatisfied with mainstream. They're dissatisfied with the rate at which science advances, and they get into places where the conspiracy fills the gap, it fills the void of the dopamine you get from discovering new science stuff to discovering how we've been tricked or deceived. And it's a similar type, it's almost like the rush you get when you're deceived by a magician. You're more pleased by a magician because you know what the game is, but you're not pleased when life deceives you. You're like, I wish I could understand that. What's up, Esoteric Gold? I think I just saw a cow. Yes, a cow jumping over the moon. And of course, you saw that thing earlier. That was really interesting. It was like, it just hopped across the moon. I couldn't tell if it's the ISS. I feel like I couldn't find it, but let's see. NGC, did you see my comment about the Nazca lines? The Nazca lines are really, if that's what you were referring to, they're really detailed and curvy, and they really look like they were organized by humans. I just really wonder how those could, I know they're massive, and they were done at a period where people didn't have flying machines, but I don't know. What's up, more Jello, please? Let's go, Winone. So I streamed a little bit early, like if you're just showing up, you can jump back and get a really good shot of M42. You can see the double stars or the binary stars in the trapezium cluster. So yeah, I was talking about the deception, dopamine rush. So that's really all it is. It's like not I hate saying that, I hate diminishing it. It's people who are desperate to figure out something fresh, something new, and kind of get mired in being deceived versus taking the step beyond that, which is to study and to practice. And because studying and practicing is actually extremely tedious and tiresome and sometimes leads nowhere for a long period of time. And so it's far easier and far more gratifying to go into conspiracy theories because they fulfill the quick rush of every day or every couple of days or every week. There's a new thing that you can point to and say, I've been deceived by this as well, and this other thing is a deception. So that being said, there are things that are absolutely deceptions, and there definitely are conspiracies, but not everything is a conspiracy. and to have that nuance and to walk that fine line is a true challenge. So when you wrote to me earlier and you're like, don't you feel like like knowledge is being hidden from me? Yes, at one point I did, but then when you listen and you read more, the stuff that I'm talking about should give you a little bit of leverage or ammunition to imagine, okay, who's the God here? Who made this life? Why did you make this life? Also, how quantum mechanics gives us consciousness being fundamental, therefore we're all the same thing. So even the people that are holding secrets are still people. They're not better than you or smarter than you necessarily. They just are fulfilling a different role on Earth than you are now. Hey there, Copper Tops. Nice to see you, friend. Yeah. Everything I see now is electric, says NGC, right? I really, if you didn't see the show earlier, I was showing Jupiter, but man, there's so much good stuff to talk about on Jupiter in terms of electricity. And when you understand that the spirals that we see on everything is because the coaxial braided filaments of electric currents exist, that's where spin comes from, torsion of twisting braids. And then around these braids, you have nested counter-rotating cylinders. Gosh, that's the toolkit for so many things. If you look at Jupiter with that context, you realize that Jupiter is plugged in. It outlines the Birkeland sheaths, and it's pinched at the poles. It's like this, it's a perfect embodiment of the structure of a Birkeland current. So let's look at the moon a little closer now. So I showed some of the Earth shine. Like I said, 54%, really beautiful phase, one of my favorites. Let's play a song here and get into some detail. Put on your dancing shoes, going right into the jams.
Do you know why I've been beaten from the heart? I know, no lie. I've been thinking about you all night. Why? No why. I've been waiting for your white light. No why. Thinking that you should be mine. So call me up, and let's get down, down. So call me up, and let's get down, down. Oh, you send me messages across the cosmic network, and you send me pictures from across the astral plane, and you send me cryptic kisses across the matching network. So call me up. Je t'attends dans l'amour incestuel, ainsi l'amour que la même sirène, achetant la éternelle, avec on son billet. Je suis la même que ton avant-l'aile chaque jour. Je t'attends dans l'amour avec les mecs sans agréver. Et c'est mon âme magnétique, c'est l'amour magnétique, c'est mon amour magnifique. Cool running, no
got a little Clutie over there for a second, tiny Clutie, but very fine, like misty clouds coming down in layers. So I wanted to make sure we saw a little bit of the surface before maybe it did get really Clutie. Ooh, early version of Dreamfields. Let me lower that for a sec. So yeah, fantastic detail. A little inconsistency you can see with the focus. True man, this is what I was commenting to you about, how like some parts of the moon sometimes due to libration and where it is in the sky, we get a little bit of difference in focus on parts of the moon, like one side being a little bit out of focus. And if you roll the mirror a little bit, you will get one side more in focus and flip it and vice versa. But still fascinating to think about vanishing point, far focus, infinity focus, whatever it means to send a signal from our eyes into the sphere, into the magnetosphere, into the ionosphere, into the mesosphere, and what is the information that we're getting and receiving, and quantum entangling or photonic entangling or coupling with our eyes to be able to perceive, of course, the moon, but also M42 and Jupiter and Saturn, and to be able to see at all distances using tools that we created. Again, it's never lost on me, and I always have to reiterate that we made our own eyeballs. Humans make their own eyeballs. Creatures make their own eyeballs. One of many organs, and we make two of them, right? So not only that, we understand symmetry at the very nature of us without even knowing how to do it. We make these eyeballs and they work as tools to be able to see into deep space. So I think revelations like that are much grander than revelations about being deceived, true men, you know, and others. But it's one of those things where, I'll give you an example, like right now, of course, there are things going on and where information is being kept from a large amount of people, right? Of course that's happening. But if you're going to live your life in the shadow of the fact that you are not as powerful as every other person, then that's a choice, because if you'd like to, you can just recognize the self. One can just recognize the self and be instantly empowered and say, well, I'm going to choose to believe this thing if I want to. And, you know, you could say that choosing to believe in a conspiracy or choosing to believe in ideology is doing that. And I say more power to you if that's what you want to believe in. As long as you're kind to people around you, believe in whatever you want. But in terms of science, in terms of moving physics forward, it would seem to me that it's much more complex than a single idea. Anything good takes a lot of work and a lot of practice. And usually it comes with a lot of struggle. So working a ton and not progressing at all. And then once in a while having a massive breakthrough. Whereas this instant gratification of, like I said, conspiracy world, YouTube world, hype world, you know, and also mainstream science, which is also very hypey and hyperbolic and purple prose and let's go back to the drawing board, scientists baffled. They're always baffled. Or they found something spooky or peculiar, or it's strange, high maximum weirdness, right? This type of language to me is really used to trigger those dopamine hits of like, wow, that's stuff that I can't imagine. It's so exciting and it must be really fancy. And I'm just trying to articulate the vibe that you get from that type of language. Or same thing like Secure Team or any of the conspiracy stuff where it's like giant mothership lodged next to Jupiter, astronomers shocked, and the big in the emojis and the big letters. It's really manipulative, you know, and some people want to be manipulated. That's why I say believe whatever you want, because some people just enjoy horror movies or catastrophism, and some people love conspiracies just for the sake of loving them. But again, for me, it's one of these things where I'd love to know where the human race came from, and I want to know what oscillation and frequency and consciousness and all the stuff that I talk about. I personally want to know as much as I possibly can know about these topics, and then I'll I share them with a lot of ease with y'all. First of all, it's not a lot of people, and that should show you that it's one of those things that truly esoteric, interesting information is viewed by very few people on Earth. The coolest things usually are viewed by the very fewest. It's a inverse logic of popularity. It doesn't mean that popular things can't be good. It just means that typically many of the great things are actually very underground and unknown but to most. Copper Drop says, well, I must have been stoned when I made my eyeballs. My eyeballs are literally bleeding. Truman says, as long as the person understands it is a theory, no one knows anything for sure. I also don't agree with that. I don't think we always have to be in the zone where, like, humans are so dumb we can never know anything for sure. I think that's just an easy way to get around doing the work that says if you practice, you'll get somewhere. So it's the same way when you tell somebody, hey, you should learn an instrument, and they're like, well, I'm not musically inclined, or like, you know, I don't have the time, or like, I bought a guitar, but I don't look at it really. It's just a bunch of excuses, because if you really spent the time and learned how to play a guitar, and then one day you just pick it up and you can play, that feeling of gratification is 100-fold the feeling of making those excuses and not playing. And so it's the same with mainstream debunkers. It's the same thing with conspiracy theories, where it's like, here's a little morsel, let's keep the conspiracy going. Tomorrow I'll tell you more about how you were deceived. And whereas where I'm trying to come from is every day, every time I stream, I want to give people at least 1 to 3 new ideas that they've never heard of before, but not just random ideas that actually trigger enlightenment of some sort, or connecting the dots of some sort, or positive reinforcement. Factors that actually amplify people's signal and allow other people to discern and decipher new things on their own. Ellie Wynn, good morning to you. Nice to see you on the second stream. So I felt like, like I said, lost the live stream earlier because of the images, and some sensitive information came up, so I had to delete that part. So it made me kind of re-upload the thing. So anyway, back at it here with our beautiful moon, but now it's gotten cloudy, pretty cloudy. Dang, everyone showed up and started talking all at once. Let me adjust the moon image for a sec. I see Cyber Sully in there. What's going on? I see Kazarotor, sorry. And who else? Let's see. A skill is not the same as knowledge, says Truman. I disagree with that. I think learning is the same on all scales. Learning an instrument, learning a language, learning plasma physics, learning what you don't know in order to break the rules, right? So you've heard me talk about all these theories. I tend to also research mainstream theories so that I can speak more fluently about what the majority believe, in contrast to what the alternative space believes. It's really important. You can't just do one. Cyber Sully says, to make decisions for them, and they become so blinded and unable to think for themselves as not to be able to foresee the consequences of such actions. Are you constantly associating me with conspiracy? No, I think conspiracy is just how some of the questions you phrase towards me sound. It's a lot of, a lot of certain things are phrased a certain way, and you saw my comments to you in the past. But anyway, let's move past that. Kazer Rotor says, have you heard the audio clips taken off the planets in our solar system? yes, the sounds of Jupiter and Saturn are just amazing to listen to. It's kind of a head trip. If you put it in good headphones and sit and lay it, you can definitely have like a binaural style trip. I feel like it's obvious, but not insignificant, that planets actually oscillate and hum and create massive frequencies through the solar system. They speak, they communicate with us. We're awash in the sounds of Jupiter. So, of course, yes, amazing. Richard Garcia says, Mimi, how's everyone digging your sound and knowledge about the subject? Wait, what did I... What am I missing? Maybe I missed it. I guess I'm talking about conspiracies that are not... Like, alternative physics is broad on YouTube, and there are a lot of ideas out there. So I just figure that when you send questions to me, they're basically trying to pinpoint certain things that I'm not really looking for. Anyway, it's okay, you know, it's totally fine. All right, let's play some tunes here. 2 a.m. with our Luna, and I feel like I'm gonna keep an eye on these Cludes, these Jean-Claude Van Dammes. What tune is coming up? Let's play some of the new stuff again. Desert Fire's coming in cold. I mean hot.
So lacking love, what mystery or love? In between the record, I found my head turned to dust. Rockets on the beach, oh, when you just went to leave. I believe what's told, our story carries out. Your breath so inspiring. Oh, it's nothing like you thought it though. One day there's nothing left to prove. All this love we find, falling into face with you. Long enough and I'm gonna lose my mind. Cleared out the evidence, uncover the shock this time. Lightning is a fire. Say you've been loving for so long. Don't like my desert fire. Fire. Lights in the distance, I walk slowly up the stairs. See ahead a lion sit alone upon his bed. Oh, factory beast, I know it's been so long. What time is it? What time is it? I know I will cast sight of it, so go on, inform. Oh, sand is like the mind and scattered soul. Now let it go. Sigh, like I'm all reaching out. I left my home for 7 miles. We trail along for 7 lives. Let the whole heart sing. We're coming to shop this time. The light doesn't fire. Say you were loving for so long. Like there's a fire. There's a fire, fire. There's a fire. There's a fire. Say you burn. Like there's a fire. There's a fire, fire. Climb to original source. Only one walls of our place. Down for the rockets below. Oh no, it's one love and
All right. Desert fires, then interference. And these clouds keep interfering with my view today. What's the deal? Come on. Come on, clouds. Now it's kind of beautiful, actually. At least we can see some of the detail. Again, that amazing feature going Apennines into the Alpine mountain range. You can really see that peak up there creeping through the Terminator. You got, what is this? I think it's, I want to say that's Purback and Arzachel, right? Those two in the middle. Ptolemaeus, and then if it goes down, you feel, I think there's Clavius. I was watching more of that Andrew Hall electric, what is it called? The Shocking Truth. That's the video. I want to actually link it to y'all. It's a really excellent video by Andrew Hall on Thunderbolts Project. Shocking Truth, Andrew Hall. Then I watched Buddy's video on magnetohydrodynamics, also excellent. Damn, I forget what it's like to have ads. I don't usually check this here. The Shocking Truth. PT6. Yeah, so this is a really good video. And what was I talking about? Yeah, so Andrew Hall talking about how electricity can shape geology and how fundamental that really is, and also how mountains are essentially corners of hexagons. It's really interesting that the fact that our mountains and features on the mountains, and obviously features on the moon, outline the Birkeland sheets, these cascading vortices or cones. So it's a great video. No problem, CyberSully. I don't know why I didn't see the first part of the comment that you were referring to. So what else did I want to talk about? I watched the video today. I mentioned it, which was the Dan Winter and Jay Widener video, talking about Gaia TV and how he ran it for a while and how other people took over Gaia TV around 2015 or 2016, kind of a younger staff, and they started getting into basically just trying to fill the content slots, and they started getting whoever to really fill them. And that's where I feel like that was that whole thing with David Wilcock and Corey Good and the Mars jump rooms. And so what I wanted to say earlier that I was talking about in terms of Dan Winter being this real brain, real genius guy, but also his bent on the fact that there are aliens and that there's a galactic federation. I think it's one of those things where it's hard to figure out where to stand on something like that, because I feel like you don't really need aliens, like actual extraterrestrials, for all the things that we've seen. And so my point was, what was my point about this? Was the fact that he was talking about implosion theory. What was it? I wanted to talk about this one aspect of it. Yeah, so how Jay Widener actually seems to be this very interesting character. They're both very smart, but they all really feel like there's this kind of ascension beyond what we have today. And there's always the looking towards the more, or what's more seductive, or like I mentioned, immortality. They were talking about how to die well and to transfer the soul through death. And I find that really fascinating, but I also find it a little bit like missing the point of being here in a way. But I also understand the struggle to want to get there, to have the more. So I used to watch Gaia TV for a lot of years up until the point where the ufology stuff started going awry. I know what I want to talk about, which I trailed off in this video and I trailed off in the last video, but I'll remember it this time. But he mentions this guy named Alex Collier, and several others in terms of the Galactic Federation. And there was a point where I was looking into this often about the secret space program and the Mars jump rooms and stuff like that. And it's very hard to decipher as to whether that stuff is real or just people are excellent at making up stories about it. Because the people who I really trust scientifically have never had real experiences. But a lot of these people, like give one person in particular, Dan Winter, who I really respect in a lot of ways, is absolutely buys into this. And I just wonder why that's the case. Let's see. NGC says, I signed up to Gaia last year just to watch Thunderbolts. I actually downloaded all of those just to see them as well because support, but they really dumbed it down a lot, to be honest, even though I love Ev Cochran and Wall, but I think they really dumbed it down. Savior complex, right? There is a bit of that salvationism or savior complex of like, this is like life right as we have it right now is not enough. Earth is not doing well. Earth could be doing better. We as people could do better. This constant need to self-betterment, self-improvement. And I know, there is a very fine line here because a lot of people want that. Not everybody is self-destructive. A lot of people do want to save the planet and better themselves and go on. And I respect that. But I think it's more that we're talking about esoteric sciences and Dan Winter's implosion, negentropy, golden mean against phi, all that stuff is just really excellent. But the alien stuff is just this, I don't want to say it's a step too far because he is very lucid about what he's talking about. He said Corey Good is like not so good, but it's like weird. It's like, why would you buy what Corey Good has to say? Why would you think that Corey Good is making shit up and then Alex Collier is not? Now, Alex Collier is seems like a kind of brilliant guy too. Alex Collier talks about the history of the Galactic Federation and also the galactic history of Earth and Earth's place in it. And he has a couple of hours, I don't know, it's like maybe 4 to 6 hours of content on YouTube. And I used to watch those over and over because it's actually a fascinating talk. But when you really look at it in the context of reality, it's very difficult to buy into that. Implosion was really, Schauberger. Well, I know Ken Wheeler talks about that, but there's nothing wrong with Dan Winter re-upping it, doubling down on it, showing the math behind it. Victor Schauberger is not with us, unfortunately, making YouTube videos. And Theoria Apophysis, I don't know, he's also doing his own type of thing. Super space soldiers and reptilians, I agree. I want to always leave room, because if reptilians showed up tomorrow and there were grays, I would say okay, I don't say I'm on board, but I would say okay, I could change my mind about this and accept that these creatures exist. But right now it seems like we don't need them to exist in order to explain the phenomenon that we're seeing, if that makes sense. So in order to explain UFO incidents over the course of the last 100 years, crop circles, all the stuff, and plasma entities, we can point to human events or stuff that is very possible within earthly mechanics. And I just don't think we ever understood that because plasma phenomenon is not well known. The connected universe is not well known. And people don't really understand magnetism and gravity and so on. But in fact, plasma and stuff like this enable antigravitic, enable plasma entities, enable moving through the field, enable telekinesis, enable these higher level order skills that now that more people understand it, it makes sense that we can use that framework to decipher new information. I know that Dan means well, actually. That's why I was saying, I actually really like Dan Winter a lot, but we'll see. We'll see. I told you my feeling about it, this idea that there are certain people who are the emissaries and they're having the connections, but no one else, just reeks of something. That's all I can say. And I used to love it. I used to think this person was able to meet these aliens and went on this spacecraft, and hope I can do that one day, star brother, star sister. But I don't think it's like that, actually. I think the truth is way more obvious. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think aliens are going to show up either. But if they do, they do. Fiat Punta, I love these comments. These are exactly right on. Fiat Punta says, some people need the Galactic Council as it gives them hope that a powerful force will save them. I couldn't say it any better. That's true. And if they do, great, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with accepting it, and there's nothing wrong with being skeptical. It's just that this total buy-in, because of how fancy it sounds, I can't really get behind anymore. And you see saying those clouds make the moon shadows so much lovelies on the moonscape, right? I'm just really enjoying it sitting here. I really am digging the yellow fringing that's happening, the kind of golden glow at the edge at the bottom, and some of the rim features on the bottom right. Yeah, so savior complex, salvationism, that's one of those things that just gets in the way. It takes away from studying really interesting things. And what you do come to, or at least what I've come to, is the fact that things like optics, like how the eye works, I think fundamentally who made the eyeball, which is something that none of these videos talk about. And I'm talking about like all the Zen videos, all the mainstream videos, all the alternative science videos. Almost nobody refers to the self, the human body being made by the self, or at least by the field, whatever it may be. But at least just acknowledging that within the context of science is a massive jump forward. The way the human body emits radiation, our effect on experiments, how the human body is resonant and conscious, how it's an emergent property of Earth. I could go on, but those are just a few things about existence alone, or at least the shape of a human body, the chakra system, the whole pearls on a string, the membranes, the fascia. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the self, and realizing the self from a metaphysical sense and realizing the self from a purely physical sense. Time for a tune.
Memories of you, always gonna run in line, don't starlight kind, moonlight shine, or right side, or light tone, privilege ships in night's crown, fire like trees, chill like smoke, sign a home inside shell. Where are you? I've been here, so it's all a spiral. All I know is everything we think about is gold, electric soul. Every life you come along, locking right in. Oh, every night it comes about, knocking right in. Oh, every life you come along, we're fair riding. What you say to life completed? Don't you sound conceited? This song is soul is spiral. All I know is everything we think is out of life completed. I know I sound conceited. When I think back over your eyes, you're a cornerstone. When I think back over your smile, you're my comfort zone. When I'm in your field, so when I'm in your presence, so when I'm in your field, so no one like you, no two like you and me. I'll buy the song, a song for us to see. No one like you, no two like you and me. But I feel your soul, like seas beyond. I never thought I could trap your heart. It's another lifetime, our chain of stars. So I'll be whatever you want, phone whenever I can, hide whenever you grow, scream whenever you need, slow whenever we fall, home in the sun, and our time is just gold. Will we still be together? Oh no. No one like you, no two like you and me. I'll buy the song, a song for us to see. No one like you, no two like you and me. But I feel your soul, that sees beyond. I never want to control your heart. It's another lifetime, no chain of stars. You, oh, oh, oh. You, oh, oh, oh. You, oh, oh. Sweethearts broke minds like slaves in Novocaine. Pick up bars and trepidation lost along the way. You know the smoke lines and coke dimes and turning off the tape. I was just the youngest, but I know it was the same. 'Cause you burned for me like I burned for you. You crave for me like I crave for you. So doctor, come quick now, deliver my rhythm. You're slamming my pavement, philosophy graveyard. I fly to the comet, collapsing like starbursts. Catastrophe's hidden, now that we're both in it. So, all they have to say themselves.
Alright, it's still pretty cloudy, but I'm rocking and rolling here. I drank a lot of coffee, so I'm pumped, ready to go. So that last one was called Burn And before that was Think Back Over. Try and keep playing some new stuff for y'all. What's this other one? Oh, Fine Fixer coming up. So I think I played this once before, but this is a work in progress. That's all vibes coming through. Voice Live is a harmony creator device, live pitch correcting the key of my guitar. No way, no way. No, I don't use stuff like that typically. I love all the wrong notes and the dissonance in my playing. But that, I know that a lot of people really love those tuning devices. The live tuner stuff has gotten amazing. Even my, like, what is it, the vocal, like I have the ozone, the Nectar. I have isotope Nectar for vocals, and it automatically just bakes in vocal tuning, and I had to turn it off because by default it's on. I was like, what's going on with my vocals here? They sound like they're all in key. No, but for real, you know, that's part of it, is all the voice cracking. So this one is called Fine Fixer.
yourself responsible for all we've become. Hey, even when we claim the game that we play, don't fret, it's only tough 'cause we choose to play. I'm thinking of something, old man eruption, strung on your song, so feel like you notice a person. Oh yeah, so take a path so I can be there. So I can. Yeah, oh yeah. Taking a path so I can be there. So yeah, oh yeah. Taking a path so I can be there. So I can be there. Focusing in, open inside, what's it there? How do I know? How do we get the tears of fall getting in? So real, how do we feel it? Focusing in, open inside, what's it there? How do I know? How do we get the tears of fall getting in? So real, how do we feel it? Focusing in, open inside, what is it there? How do we know? How do we get the tears of fall getting in? So right, oh, how we feel.
Whoa, wow. All right. Welcome back, Ellie Wynn. I see I don't know, comma, Alex. I don't know, Alex. Says, sup, I've been sub for years, but rarely have time for YouTube. I get that. I don't have a lot of time for social media, but definitely love to stream, so I'm on here. But I get it. Well, nice to hang out with us. I'm glad you're subbed, and yeah, welcome back to the stream. I'm not sure if I remember you joining before, but if it's your first time, again, welcome. So yeah, this moon's looking great if it were just clear a little bit, and playing some of these new tracks that I'm working on. That last one was not so far. And sorry, I know like some of them are really low, some of them are really loud, but that's what it is. I'm enjoying working on these tracks, chipping away at different parts, overlaying vocals, working on different lyrics, some of the more complex songs that I've written, I think, recently. So I'm happy that you go through these cycles where you're like, damn, am I writing as good as I used to? Am I playing better? But I feel like these last few are actually giving me life, as they say, as the kids say. So getting here with some Electric Blood. Yeah, just chilling for a little bit longer, Ellie Wynn. Maybe another 20 minutes. Just because I know I'm not going to sleep yet. Now I'm pretty wired. I had a lot to talk about, but I think I, like they say, blow my wad. I blew my wad earlier on the last show, which I had to edit and re-upload. But if you want to hear a lot of thoughts about Jupiter and electromagnetism and soul and consciousness and Dan Winter, please check out the last show. This one is going to be a lot more vibes and songs, just chatting. I think earlier I was mentioning some of these things about how people get seduced by alternative ideas when it's really just better to find what you feel is right deep down. NGC, yeah, you're welcome, of course. Go enjoy Feeding the Critters. Thank you, Ellie Wynn. Let's keep going here with the tunes. Maybe this one, called the God Fractal.
staring at a trillion bright lights. Where the hell are you? Oh, my heart is wide open, wide open, wide open. Traveling to a million far sights. Got flights, feel right, no device. Calling all we reaching the moon. I'm drifting on the shores of embryo. Calling all we reaching the moon. I'm drifting on the shores of Chrysia. Hello, is anyone there? And I know just what to do. Solid is cool, and I know just what to do. I never had such a simple love before. I learned nothing from the back of the classroom. Oh, and now I'm dreaming for myself for the first time. I never loved such a simple life before. I heard back from the front of the universe, and now I'm wondering how it's doing its thing for me. Oh, would you cool down hard? Patterns, 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 patterns. Would you cool down hard? Oh, would you cool down hard? Patterns, patterns, would you cool down? Oh, now I'm wondering why and how I've done for you. It's all for you. That is waiting on my puppets on a string. Do you feel how I feel? Do you care what I feel? Vampires, samurais, dealing ways that would you close your eyes to turn pattern before my eyes. Running, I told you, said you colors are recognized. But when you cool down hard, patterns, would you cool down? Like a fifth wheel, I'm laying low here with an old friend. Bouncing waterfalls, like a history. High, singing low with the cold trains of the soul track. It brought me down to the whoa. relinquish every step of the way. Oh, terrestrial, and all your memories, like a cold hand, puts up your sleeve like a death wheel. I'm rolling down. I'll be toe to toe with the truth you know. Oh, bye. Show away. Would you go till the end of your days? When you bye. Will you crawling up to you? Would you go to the end of your days? Yeah. Go.
All right, y'all. I think that's it for me. 2 minutes to 3 a.m. 2 fun streams tonight. Definitely check out the last one, the upload. Leave me some nice comments. I appreciate you all hanging out with me on this late night one. NGC, Truman, Ellie Wynn, Cybercelly. Did I see Copper Trops here earlier? Yeah, I did. Copper Tropical. It's great to see you. Richard Garcia, Kaiser Rotor, Alex, and Gnostic Chef, and Jello. That's all I can see. If I missed you, I'll catch you on the next one. Try and do tomorrow. We'll do some Jupiter in the next couple of days. And then maybe one more Muna session. Maybe tomorrow or the day after. We'll see how it goes. Stay healthy, everybody. Stay brilliant. I'm going to rest easy tonight. Relaxed. Take one last smoke for the road. All these clouds drift. This is your captain signing off on another amazing space journey. Be well, spacelings.